Now let's talk about the not important stuff, but the funny stuff.
The still interesting stuff,
Of
I
course,
would say.
still interesting.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Trump indictment.
Talked about this last week.
Yes.
Trump got indicted again. But
Again.
yeah, for the third time. But there have been some updates since, because after this third indictment, Trump instantly responded on Truth Social. And the quote is, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." Of course, in classic all caps Trump
Exclamation point at the end.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Even though he had specifically been told, and I think he's been told at all of these indictments, like, you can't threaten anything, you can't reveal anything that's come up to you in discovery, right? So this is exactly what he did, and instantly, Jack Smith, the special counsel, requests a gag order to be placed on him so he can't talk or he can't reference the trial in public. I saw something that says that this is kind of Jack Smith knowing that Trump can't keep his mouth shut.
Totally.
And so that's why he asks for this order. And also, if they prove that Trump violated the conditions of his release, they can jail him until the trial.
Be insane.
It seems kind of clear to me. Do you think they'll pursue it?
I don't think they will, and I think they won't, because I think that plays too well for his hand. I think that helps him.
I think so too.
If Trump goes to jail, I think his approval rating goes up.
Yeah.
Not just in the Republican Party, but nationally.
Yeah.
Until he gets convicted, don't put him in jail, please. Put him on house arrest, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't put him in jail until he's convicted.
It feels too much like, okay, now you really are just doing political prosecution.
Yeah. That's what it will feel like. It's not true.
No.
But that's what it feels like. So this is what Jack Smith said in regards to the protective order or the gag order. Such a restriction is particularly important in this case because the defendant has previously issued public statements on social media regarding witnesses, judges, attorneys, and other associated with legal matters pending against him. If the defendant were to begin issuing public posts using details or, for example, grand jury transcripts obtained during discovery, it could have a harmful chilling effect on witnesses or adversely affect the fair administration of justice in this case. So it would be used to, we don't want him going after witnesses. We don't want him getting the public to go after witnesses. Because a lot of what Trump does is stirs up his base to go out and send death threats to people. Mm-hmm. We don't want any of the grand jury's people to get leaked. Mm-hmm. And I don't put it past Trump to say that he wants to do that, right? I don't put it past him. I think he would release the names of people on the grand jury.
Yeah.
He's already said some awful things about the judge and asked her to recuse herself. He said he called Jack Smith deranged already. And in amazing, funny fashion, Trump's lawyer went around the Sunday shows. And I'm a nerd who watches the Sunday shows every Sunday morning. And he was getting interviewed by by MSNBC. I think he was on Fox. He was on State of the Nation. He was on CBS. He was on all the shows. And he was saying that he doesn't want the trial to be judged in DC because it's too much of a stacked jury against him. Okay, fine, whatever. DC voted for Biden 96-4. So DC is not a great place for Trump to get tried. Don't commit the crime in DC then. I don't know what you want to hear. But then he says that we're requesting that it gets moved to West Virginia because it's a more diverse state. West Virginia is the second whitest state.
Yeah, it is definitely not a more diverse state.
And the fact that they want to do that shows how desperate they are. I think that's so desperate.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Under what area and for what reason would the trial be moved from DC to West Virginia unless you're just knowing you're guilty and you're trying to get away with it?
Yeah, see, I guess it's embarrassing, but no one, again, everyone's on a side.
Yeah.
Already, right?
Well, what's the thing? It's like if a tree falls in the forest, no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly.
If
the Democrats are already you should already be embarrassed, then who cares if the Republicans are already there's nothing you can possibly do to be embarrassed, then no change.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. He's also asking for the judge to to recuse herself.
Yeah.
The judge has been fairly hard on January 6th perpetrators in the past. So there's no reason to think that she won't be hard on Trump for this. But he's just trying to get her to recuse herself for...
Of course. I mean, they're doing everything to delay, to discredit, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
So Trump said that Trump has responded to this protective order, and he said that he's not going through with it, and he's appealing. He says, in a trial about the First Amendment rights, because I guess this indictment is again about his First Amendment.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Right.
I don't think the indictment says that.
In the first page of the indictment, he says this is not about the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Like right away. In a trial about the First Amendment rights, the government seeks to restrict First Amendment rights. Well said, buddy. Worse, it goes against it. What does it say? Worse, it does so against its administration's primary political opponent during an blah 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 blah. So it's just them being scared, them being butthurt, upset, and I'm just totally sick of it. And I can't wait for this trial to start. Hopefully, it starts before the election.
Yeah.
But they're trying to push it until after, which I think would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, no. If he's president, then he won't get convicted.
Right.
They'll find there's too many legal loopholes that they can find there.
Totally, and he's not even going to go to trial if he's president.
No.
Like the only way he stays out of jail, from my perspective, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know, but from what I do know, from reading the indictment and having my fucking eyes open, the only way he gets out of this is if he gets elected again.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a little more context to what laws are being used to charge him. The laws were passed in 1870, and they were called the Enforcement Acts. And these were acts passed by the government specifically designed to beef up the reconstruction of America post the Civil War and enforce the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment. A nickname for the Enforcement Acts is called the Ku Klux Klan Acts because the Ku Klux Klan was out there killing black people so that they wouldn't vote and stopping black people from voting. He's using the Enforcement Acts by saying Trump defrauded the United States and nullified the votes of millions of people. And they're using the Ku Klux Klan Act to prosecute him. And I think that is just a perfect moment in our history.
Poetic.
Yeah. Hopefully one of the first president could get convicted. Could be done so through the Ku Klux Klan Act. Just beautiful.
That would be wild.
Beautiful.